What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of Lobbing Scorchers. We've got a great show for you planned here tonight. It is Club World Cup time as the Seattle Sounders are getting set to take on Botafogo in their Group B opener at Lumen Field on Sunday. Noah, was always going to be one of the seminal moments of Seattle Sounders season. This tournament, it's finally here. How are you feeling?
It is a very long and stressful week leading up to the Club World Cup, Ari. We'll talk about why. We went to Vancouver. We're back from Vancouver. These last 2 weeks have been busy, and we're not even at the Club World Cup yet. We're not even there yet, Ari. We're not even there yet.
Yeah, and the vibes are super great. Everyone's I think everyone's got a real positive, happy mindset. Everyone's in good form and locked in, no drama or controversy to speak of. But no, in all seriousness, the vibes could be better. I think it's fair to say that they could be better. So we're going to talk about all that. We got our agenda check. We're going to do a big protest update. Just got off the phone with Jo to explain the fine points of it because
Ari put his lawyer hat on.
I'm not a lawyer. Let's just say that. So we got a protest update.
This is my
for
lawyer,
you.
dog. I'm going to jail.
We got some news from elsewhere in the league that we're going to hit in our bonus episode for YouTube members as well. So stay tuned for that. But before we do all that, I do have to let you all know that Lobbing Scorchers is a part of the Sounder at Heart podcast network. If you want to get the best independent Seattle soccer coverage, consider supporting us by going to sounderatheart.com/LS. Noah, what's that link?
sounderatheart.com/LS.
Scroll down to subscribe and support to get 30 days completely free. Every sign up through our link helps support and grow this show. I believe the road to 100 Sounder at Heart subs is still alive.
We've slowed down a lot, Ari, and frankly, I don't understand why. Sounder at Heart just put out literal articles on every single team playing in the Club World Cup in Seattle. In-depth, deep dives so you can learn about who's playing on these teams. Just get your scouting report in. sounderatheart.com/LS. Sign up, become a member. Because listen, you're going to probably go to these games. Maybe you're going to go to Red Diamonds versus Inter Milan, and you're like, I don't know anyone on these two teams. You'll learn. You'll learn from the articles. They're great. They're amazing. Ari even writes a damn newsletter. So the fact that you are not subscribed to Sounder at Heart is a personal offense to Ari and myself.
Well said. And, we've been on the this road to 100 for a while now, so I'm tired of that. Let's get us to triple digits here. And subscribers also get access to the audio-only versions of our live shows right to your podcast feed. So that's another perk.
Yeah. You don't have to look at Ari's face.
Yeah. Shout out to our sponsors, Hacks and Ferments, who we've got an exciting project with on Saturday that I'm about to talk about in a second. Podium Menswear in Edmonds, Full Pull Wines, and My Data Removal. And also, as always, please subscribe to the Lobbing Scorchers YouTube. Noah, today was the day.
Oh my God.
This was a happy milestone.
Yeah.
We have hit 2K subscribers on YouTube. That's
our personal vibes, they're up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, for the content, this whole last couple of weeks have been a boon.
Yeah.
Where our stuff is getting feels like viewed more than ever.
I know.
But we have summited 2K subs on YouTube. Big milestone for us. Got there faster than I would have anticipated. That's a testament to all of you, our listeners, our viewers, our audience, and the road to 2010 is underway.
2.10. Yeah.
2.1K.
2010.
Get us to 2.1K.
2010 was a great year, Ari.
That's the year I graduated high school.
Oh my God, I was 10.
Yeah, I know. It's
wow.
kind of
problematic age gap.
Crazy to think about. Also, follow us on Instagram, which has been heating up lately as well, and TikTok, which has been heating up in not necessarily a
that's our
positive
rage
way.
bait account.
Yeah,
so
But follow us on all socials. Also, we are having a Club World Cup watch party at Fast Fashion on Saturday, starting at 4:30. We are going to be hanging out with you, the people. We're going to be watching the Club World Cup opener between Lionel Messi, Inter Miami, and the Barca boys versus Al Ali, a
Who we are
familiar
very,
foe.
we're very
familiar foe
familiar.
to us in Seattle. We're going to be taking that in. The plan is to do a watch along for that game like we did for the charity match, except it will be a watch along
With
among the people. That we're going to stream on our YouTube. So it's going to be fun. Sounder at Heart has hosted events at Fast Fashion before, and it's been a great time. So yeah, come out.
They even have a Sounder at Heart beer.
Yeah, they have a Sounder at Heart beer. Hang out with us IRL. Eat some pizza, drink some beer, and watch Messi and the Barca boys watch these old guys try and keep up with Al Ali. We're gonna. This is content, okay? And a couple of other things with this too. Okay, Saturday, June 14th, 4:30 p.m. To RSVP, go to lobbingscorchers.com/RSVP. You don't have to, but it is helpful for us to know because we're gonna have a few things going on. We've got the debut. Ari, do you want to announce this? No.
Okay. The debut of the Lobbing Scorchers hot sauce. That's right. We partnered with Hacks and Ferments and made an official Lobbing Scorchers hot sauce called Lobbing Scorchers, by the way. You're going to be able to taste it. There's going to be tastings of other hot sauces there. You can purchase it there. It's going to be awesome. This is the first time anyone's ever going to be able to get it. So you got to come here and taste it. Second, Club World Cup themselves, they're bringing swag. They're bringing free swag for all of the people who are attending. They're going to be there. We're also going to have for sale limited edition t-shirts designed by myself that say Seattle Summer of Soccer. You can also get them online, but you can get them in person here first. And we're going to have a special guest, potentially. I can't leak anything yet, but potentially you're going to want to be there.
Yeah.
LobbingScorchers.com/RSVP.
You have to roll to find out. Yeah. Definitely come to the watch party. Also,
and hang out with us.
I wrote a feature on Obed Vargas that went live on MLSsoccer.com today. It was to accompany the Breakaway Apple TV docu-series that they've been doing on different players throughout the league.
It was a really good article.
It was a good article. I was happy with how it came out. Got interviews with Christian Roldan, double pivot partner, and Cody Baker, who I don't know if everyone knows, but Cody Baker was actually Obed's host brother when he was doing the homestay program when he first got here, so knows Obed very well, one of his best friends. So I got to talk to them for it and wrote a big old thing that is accompanying the Breakaway documentary where they went and followed Obed to Alaska, actually. So I believe it's still front page 1A right now on MLSsoccer.com.
And listen,
we got a bunch of Club World Cup content up there right now, and I wrote some of it.
So also, if you just want a quick way to get there, LobbingScorchers.com/Obed. It'll take you right there. I just created the link for you.
That is
done.
That's fire.
LobbingScorchers.com/Obed.
As for in-depth preview of Botafogo, I got an interview lined up with.
We have so much news today. It's just like 6 minutes of us.
We got to plug all of it though.
Yeah.
Just, tune into Under the Lights tomorrow. I'm going to be interviewing another YouTuber.
This is coming out tomorrow, so it's tonight. But
tonight. Glorious Botafogo is what their show is called. I messaged them today, and they said they're down to come on Under the Lights tomorrow and give us the intel on Botafogo, which I'm very interested for that, Noah, because it's like when we're previewing MLS clubs, I kind of know what's up a little bit. I don't really know what's up. Like I know the basics about Botafogo, but I don't know the fine points. So tune into Under the Lights tomorrow for that. All right, I think that was everything. Do you have anything else?
I think that's it. Let's do it.
Pod?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
vibe check. Vibe check.
We are going to start it off with a vibe check. As I mentioned, the vibes aren't super great right now going into the Club World Cup. It's kind of hard to imagine a greater degree to which they could have deteriorated. No, I feel like as recently as 2 weeks ago, the vibes were they were pretty much fine. I thought they were actually kind of good. It's been an up and down season vibe-wise so far. It started off poorly. CCC was a flop. Jordan Morris got injured immediately. The squad started the season like 1-3-3. That was
Classic Sounders.
That was a classic Sounders slow start, but the vibes weren't super great. And there's been other times, like, the San Diego game comes to mind, the St. Louis game comes to mind. So those were the low points. But it felt like they had course corrected a little bit from April 12th up until the Minnesota United game. I believe the record was 6-2-2. So that's good. Jesus Ferreira got a goal finally. You had the Moose hot streak. They were moving up the table. Going into the Minnesota United game, I was feeling fine, and it felt like there was a good opportunity to go into the Club World Cup on a high, because you had a Minnesota United team come into town who never wins at Lumen Field. And then you had a Whitecaps team that you already knew was going to be depleted from the CCC final, regardless of how it went, right? Mm-hmm. Even if they won it, they were going to be coming off a huge
international break
CCC run. So it felt like these were two winnable games against some of the two of the West's best teams. And if you could put in some good performances and good results, yeah, you had a chance to be going into the Club World Cup on a high.
Yeah.
But instead, it's deteriorated. The squad is currently embroiled in a labor dispute and a feud with their owner, who famously went into the locker room and had a little. He was not happy.
Yeah,
he was not happy.
How do we describe this in non-political terms?
He was
less. He was vocal.
He was vocally
unhappy.
Vocally unpleased with the protest shirts, and then kind of under the cloud of all of that stuff going on off the field, you had a not great at all performance or result against Minnesota United, where you gave up 3 goals at home and lost the game, and
looked bad,
and yeah, didn't look good at all. And then you had the Vancouver game, which was a chance to course correct that, which went
what happened, Ari?
Fully off the rails, famously.
Yeah,
2 red cards in 3 minutes, and lost to a Whitecaps team that was their B side, and lost to them handily.
Yeah.
So that all leaves us in a situation where, like I said, I think it's hard to imagine a much greater downturn that the Vibes could have taken. Noah, how are you feeling just vibe check wise as we sit just a couple days now from the Club World Cup starting?
I think the vibes are atrocious, Ari. I think that these are some of the most rancid, super sour, rotting milk carcass vibes. Like, this is roadkill in the middle of Arizona in the summer vibes going on right now. And how do you turn it around? I have no clue. But this is also, funny enough, somehow the type of team where the vibes are like this. They go play in the Club World Cup and somehow get out of the group.
Yeah, I think
maybe that's wishful thinking, but like, I don't know. Like, it's everything is such shit that like maybe this is just a chance to play these damn games and get it over with. And you've got that on your mind and you're like, all right, I don't have anything to lose here. But let's be real, Ari. The vibes are atrocious. And something you did say, I don't know what episode it is because you do so many podcasts, but you said, I don't think I've ever seen 2 red cards that close together before. I can tell you I have. And it wasn't a Sounders game, and it was in the most infamous Sounders game, Ari. The red card wedding. There were 2 red cards, mere 30 seconds apart from each other.
I've
never seen 2 run of play red cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
that was a little bit of different circumstances.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the way you turn the vibes around is you go out on Sunday against Botafogo and you have a good performance.
You get a draw.
I think a positive result of any sort would do wonders for the vibes. But I think even if you go out and you don't get a result, but you play well, you're competitive, you have a good showing, and you just look like a good, competent, competitive soccer team, like unlike what you did in Vancouver, I think that would help. Like,
yeah.
I would feel, speaking for myself, I think I would feel better about the state of affairs if they just did that. So that's like the baseline. And then of course, if you draw or win this game on Sunday, I think the vibes are fully back, baby. Like that. I don't like. Do you see that differently?
No, I think you're completely correct. I think there's one shot to kind of turn this around, and you've got to make it count against. Funny enough, like this is the game. This is the game. Like, and this is not a great game either. Not in terms of like it's not going to be a great matchup. I'm just saying like Botafogo is like one of the best teams in the world still.
They
like
won Copa Libertadores last year.
Yeah, like they're good.
They're good.
They're actively good.
This group is so stupid, man.
It's so silly.
Dude, like I know this is whining and I know this is sour grapes, but like it's just a little tilting that
LAFC gets to play a Tunisian team.
The one team that actually earned their spot here is the team that gets by far and away the hardest group.
Can I flip
not
it
even
though?
Close.
Can I flip it?
Yeah, please.
We get the hardest group because we were respected enough with the warm balls to play in this group. Because we are effectively the biggest club in North America.
I like that.
Every other club needed an easy path out of CONCACAF, and they were like, you know what? If anyone can do it, the Seattle Sounders can do it, and they stuck us in that group. GG was like, you know what? They can do it. Honestly,
I'm going to go with that narrative.
I think that's the better narrative.
That's good spin.
And also, like, we have an opportunity to win this group because they have to play here, right? Okay? Why don't we just take a page out of all of the Mexican teams' handbook and food poison them? Why don't we just food poison Botafogo?
That's not where I thought it was
Why has no
going.
one brought this up yet? Why am I the only one bringing this up?
It's not a bad point. It's not a bad point. You know, if you're overmatched, sometimes you got to pull out drastic measures. Aside from the off-field disputes, Noah, this was already a situation where the personnel situation, I mean, it's tough right now. It's so unfortunate that they have to do this shit without Jordan Morris, without Ymar, without Kim Ki-hee. Stu Hawks also not going to play in this tournament. That I think Brian Schmetzer confirmed that today that his quad injury is going to keep him out long term, 6 to 8 weeks. So no Stu Hawks. Ymar's not training. Kim's not training, and Jordan.
Kim was back in training, but I don't think he's going to be fit.
Yeah,
he's not doing ball work.
I would be shocked if Kim plays at all in any of these games, and I think it's
cooked for Jordan.
It's fairly safe to assume that it's cooked for Jordan.
Which, if anyone deserves to play in this goddamn tournament, it's Jordan Morris, man. Like, Also, they have him, and I don't know if you get the PR emails, but I get all 40 of them every day. We love you guys. Thank you for giving us info. But they literally are spamming Jordan Morris quotes and like Jordan Morris videos into my inbox, and I'm like, you guys know he's like not going to play a single minute.
Maybe that's an indication that he could play a single minute.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd put money on no.
No, I mean, I think the safe assumption is that he's not going to be playing. None of those guys are going to be playing, and that just makes it even harder. I mean, what? So you're looking at the Jackson Reagan J Bell duo, which, you know, it is what it is, but it's like, what if one of those guys has to, Jackson Reagan is still just coming back from injury.
Yeah.
What do they even like do?
Leo Burney.
Yeah. Like Leo Burney might be,
Leo Burney is going to be cooking, bro.
You come on down, Leo Burney.
Leo Burney. You're the next CB.
Ivy League Defender of the Year. Let's see what you got. Yep. I mean, like that's where it's at right now.
Leo Burney playing against Simeone midfield and then playing against PSG.
Yeah.
Like MLS Next Pro guys may legitimately get minutes in this tournament.
Which is
it's cool, but like, is that what you were expecting?
No, and it definitely makes the task at hand harder. Like, these are situations where experience is crucial.
Yeah.
So you're likely not going to have that in central defense for at least some portion of it. You're going to have to ride Jackson Reagan and J Bell through this entire group stage, which, you know, like I said, it makes the task at hand a lot more difficult. It also would serve to make it a lot more epic if they do get out of the group.
Yeah.
So
call up Omar Hassan. Come on.
That would be that. I'm down for that agenda.
He played tonight for Defiance. So just saying.
First, yeah.
24 hours, you know, we're just out here pushing agendas. Listen, the vibes in general, Ari, like, I have always said, and we've been saying this, or at least I've been saying this since the beginning, is this is a showcase tournament. This is fun. We get to watch good teams play the Sounders. We're not probably going to win any games, but like just like treat it like that. Just have fun. The people who are crashing out and are like, this is the biggest tournament of our lives, and the fact that we haven't done anything, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, bro, relax, reframe, have a Modelo. Okay, sit down and watch some soccer, because you're never going to be able to see PSG coming off of winning the most emphatic Champions League I've ever seen in my life at Lumen Field in a competitive match. Yeah, maybe it'll be their B team, but like, who cares, man? Like, just
even if it's their B team, it's a game that matters.
Just rock it. Just enjoy it. The vibes are chalked. It makes it almost even easier to just sit down and enjoy these games for what they are, which is a celebration of winning Champions Cup, which no one has ever done and no one will ever do other than the Sounders in MLS.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the right way to look at it. It just feels like with everything going on and all the drama, it's kind of hard to get there, or harder to get there than it would be if these were just like anywhere approaching normal circumstances with something approaching your like first choice personnel, which you're also not going to have. Mm-hmm. So I think, we'll see what happens on Sunday. I have a feeling once the game gets started, I'll find it easier to do what you said, which is just sit back, enjoy it, appreciate it for what it is. And I mean, I think you and I have been pretty consistent the whole time that we're not going to get too wrapped up in the results of these games.
No,
I'm certainly not. Like, even this Botafogo game, like you said, they're the best team in Brazil, at least they were last year. I know their league season has not started off super great this year, but this is a Brazilian powerhouse. It's not like you have the
Nico
PSG
Ladero
and Atletico games, and then you get this like big break. Like, this is going to be a really hard game. So,
and it's a teams with history, man. Nico Ladero. Botafogo number 10, man. Like, what are you talking about?
Boca Juniors. I don't think Nico played.
I think he played for Botafogo as well.
Oh, he might have. I know João Paulo did.
JP played there, and I'm pretty sure Nico also played there. If not, I'm just disseminating misinformation and fuck it.
I think you're in the clear because, no, you're right. Yeah, 2012 to 2014. Yeah. I forgot about that.
He played there, so there's history there. You've got JP. It's awesome. Like, JP is going to play against his old club. And
they love him there.
And they love him there. And then not to mention, he played the tournament that qualified them for this tournament. So like he's full circling the whole thing. Like this, you gotta feel some kind of way for the players. You gotta feel like they want to compete, but you also gotta feel like this has got to be a great moment for them to like celebrate. Because like at the end of the day, they're people, right? And like they earned this, and that rocks. And that's where I am. I'm just trying to keep the vibes positive here, Ari. So now that means you have to be the brigade and toss some negative counterpoints.
They didn't sign anyone during the Club World Cup window. Where's the ambition?
They didn't buy out Jordan Morris. Oh my God. It's over.
Yeah.
Club's gone.
I think, like I said, I'm hoping once the game starts, the negative air around this team that's been around the last couple weeks will go out the window. And I think that I'm expecting them to rise to the moment a little more, in the sense that like I would be surprised if there's like meltdown stuff type happening, like multiple red cards in a 3-minute span. Like I think as a baseline, my expectation is that we don't see anything like that. Mm-hmm. And then, if they still lose the game, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Noah, anything else vibe check wise before we do this protest update?
Well, I think we should slide into the actual negative vibes, or what's bringing down the vibes the most, which is this protest. So, I mean, that's basically all I had to say. Just, I don't know if you want to lead this section off, or I can. But,
I can lead it off, and then why don't you nutshell what's exactly going on?
Yeah.
The biggest update that came out of Sounders training today is mostly that there kind of was no update. Christian Roldan was speaking with media at Long Acres today, and he said that the players had not heard back on their counter offer that they made to the league's initial offer, which the players very clearly deemed that an unserious offer. The way they described it, it sounded like the type of offer that you make to someone that you know is going to get rejected.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. That's how they took it.
It's a you offer.
That is exactly
To
how
put
it's
it
been
in
described.
To put it in
so they made a
English
they
terms.
made a counter offer, and as of we're recording this Wednesday evening, as of Wednesday afternoon, they had not heard back, and Christian you could tell he was annoyed at this. Like they feel like at the very least there needs to be like ongoing dialogue and not these long periods of silence or what they consider to be unserious offers. So as we record this right now, this doesn't seem to be particularly close to getting resolved, which is great because the game's on Sunday. So that's like a lot of time to work with here. Like, so, anyway, Noah, why don't you, we called J.O. to get the, make sure our facts were on point with all this. But why don't you give the people the nutshell of just like what's going on with this, where things stand right now, and what it might look like going forward.
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of he said, she said, because you've got what the league is telling reporters, you have what the Players Association is telling players.
It's like conflicting.
And I think that you can kind of ride it down the middle and see through it. I think that we can probably give you a little bit of analysis that can make you see through it. But I want to give a full picture because we're slowly like revealing. The fog is clearing as we get more information here and there. So this reporting comes courtesy of Sounder at Heart and Jeremiah O'Shan. If you want to subscribe to Sounder at Heart, this information has been available on there, and this reporting wouldn't be possible without it. So sounderatheart.com/LS and scroll down to subscribe and support. Here we go. So initially, there were informal conversations about the pay structure for this tournament that started 2 or 3 months ago, right? So this is not some new thing. Then I would say 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, something around there, Albert Rusnak started talking about this, and Jada Evans of the Seattle Times did a whole article and report about this, which kind of kicked off the public conversation. From there, then you saw the protest shirts and all of that, and it all escalated. But that's kind of been the backdrop. We haven't really known any of the details. That's just been the general view. So when we're looking behind the screen, this comes from sources, is that the players in league went back and forth informally, feeling out the situation and one another. And at one point, the owners had informally suggested 25 to 35% of the performance bonus as a additional incentive on top of the 10. What is it? It's 10%, correct? Of the 9.5 million. So that's 1 million. I think it's like $1 million for a draw, 2 million for a win, and then 7 million if you advance, and then more and more after that, right? So the players would get 25 to 35% of the performance incentive bonuses, which makes sense because they're playing the games, they're advancing, and you want to encourage your team to win games, right? There were back and forths about that, and then they kind of heard radio silence. The players did. The players union and the players. So they protested. They wore the shirts and they wanted to get the wheels moving because MLS was trying to drag their feet on this. And so after that protest, as was reported, the powers that be were not happy, Ari. There was some crashing out. There was some frustration. There was some anger. And the Board of Governors / owners allegedly did a formal offer of 20% of the performance bonus on a Friday night at 6 p.m. in retaliation for this protest. So they basically lowballed what they informally told them they would offer as an FU because they protested and were like, okay, you want to protest? Cool. We can protest you too. So they tried to strong arm them with that. Then the players union and the players retaliated with a counteroffer of 40%, not just of the total performance bonus, but of the entire prize package as a whole. So that includes the $10 million for qualifying, any additional bonus revenue generated from it, and the performance bonuses, right? 40% of all of that. And as of 1 p.m., June 11th, there has been no response from the league, and the players are rightfully frustrated. And from what I have gleaned from what Jeremiah has reported is that basically what the league wants to do right now is just drag their feet until the games kick off. Because
that's clearly what's going on.
They don't care. They think that they're in the right, and they are happy to piss off their players in the long term for a short-term gain. That's very clear to what it is. So their argument, the league saying their argument is that teams already got that are in the Club World Cup got an additional $750,000 in allocation money. And so that should be taken into account when considering the prize pool allocated to players, even though that money doesn't go directly to players. That's general salary, all of that kind of stuff, right? The argument from the and then the argument from the league as well is that they say there is no global standard, which was something that the Players Association has claimed, that there's a global standard of 50-50 for tournament sharing. The league says, well, this tournament is completely different. This is unprecedented money. And from what we can ascertain, there are almost zero teams that are giving out any kind of guarantees other than a slight percentage potentially of performance bonuses. So MLSPA has not been able to prove to them, from what has been reported, that there is actually a global standard, because there just hasn't been a lot of reporting in general about how teams are compensating their players for this tournament. Now, on top of that, you have this information coming out that the reason that all of this is boiling over and absolutely insane, the cherry on top, Ari, is that Major League Soccer renegotiated with the Players Association the compensation structure for Champions Cup. When did this happen? In 2024.
Yeah, so
when was the PA signed? 2022. And guess what that compensation structure is? 50% of the total prize pool, which if you win CCC would take you way above $1 million, which is what the cap is, right? 50% up to $1 million. Guess what, buddy? Blows way past that. So all of these arguments are happening under the pretext that they've done this before. They just did this. And MLS is acting like this is some unthinkable, unfathomable conversation to be having.
Right, I can just read the Blue Sky post from the MLSPA right here. They say, fact, there is direct precedent for a fair renegotiation of tournament prize money for MLS players when changes to the CONCACAF Champions Cup significantly increased the prize money to over $5 million for the champion. MLS and the MLSPA reached a fair agreement to equitably distribute the money. The result, a 50-50 split was agreed upon for all the prize money, including both participation and performance-based payments, substantially exceeding the $1 million cap applicable to the Club World Cup. They even made a little graphic to illustrate their point. It's a very sleek, well-made graphic. Mm-hmm. So that's a development that I didn't know about, which is that there is precedent for this type of negotiation. And to me, like, it feels like Noah, that this has just become a pissing contest. Like the original offer that they made, like you said, was clearly retaliatory. And that all that does is escalate the situation, right? Because the other side feels disrespected and like they're not being taken seriously. So they throw back an offer that's like going to be clearly way beyond what the league would grant, right? It's like, no, I don't think anyone thinks that they're going to give them 40%.
Well, but it's not, because like, yes, it is retaliatory, but they have precedent for it. They have precedent for 50% of a prize pool, which I'm not saying that there's not going to be a team that gets out of the group, but let's say they don't. That's 50% of $9 million. Like, what? That's, yeah, you're right. That's $2.5 million more dollars than what they would get for the for winning CONCACAF Champions Cup, but not that much more money.
Yeah, not really.
So they're essentially asking for 40%, which is still less than what they would get if they qualified if they won Champions Cup and didn't win a game. That said,
just doesn't feel like this ends well. Feels like, these negotiations, CBAs, stuff like this, it always gets contentious. But doesn't this feel just like a little uglier than even usual? I know there was almost like a lockout a couple years ago, right?
I remember that.
And like you see that, and that's not something that's only happened in MLS. Like that happens in other sports. But this just feels like it's just escalated, and it's continuing to escalate. And do you see any scenario where they get like an actual deal hammered out by this Sunday? Like, I just have a hard time seeing that. So what happens in that event? Like, the players, like, they could just not play, but I don't think that they're going to do that. I would be surprised if like a strike happens, but it doesn't seem good to have this hanging over the club and all the MLS clubs that are in this tournament while it's going on, and it can't bode well for future relations between the sides, can it? So I don't know. Like, how does this end? I have a hard time prognosticating that.
Here's what I will say, and what I can guarantee is that Major League Soccer is making a very, very short-sighted decision here, because they are pissing off some of their best players at the biggest clubs for a very small short-term gain for their owners, which is essentially just stupid, because they know they're going to have to come back to the bargaining table at some point. And they're going to pay for this one way or another. They're going to pay for this in one way or another when they renegotiate the new CBA, sorry. That's the truth. And so if they think that they're going to, even if they do run out the clock and the players are pissed off and all of this, I promise you there's going to be a get back, and they're not going to like it, and they're going to get more, or try and get more than whatever this just like payment would be. Why does the Board of Governors think that it is a good idea to piss off your players for such a small amount of money? It's stupid.
That money doesn't mean anything to them.
You're silly. You're silly.
It's like, it's become about like, it feels like it's become about like the principle of it.
It is. It is.
Ego. Like,
it is.
Like
and
you're
weakening
damaging my pride by questioning me type situation, which is like, that's, to me, like, we can get bogged down in the fine points and the legal technicalities of it. At the end of the day, like, if we all agree that 90-10 is not like a fair allocation of the money that we're talking about here, then it shouldn't be like this hard and dramatic and drawn out to just get to some sort of arrangement where everyone feels like they're being treated fairly, or at least more fairly than 90-10.
Yeah.
So that's just how I feel about it. Like, it doesn't need to be like this. It's gotten to a point where it seems clear that it's not about like the merits of the situation, and it's about, again, like pride, ego, and like having a go at people because you are like you're personally aggrieved by how it's been approached, or how they're subverting you, or whatever it is. Yeah. And that's just like you said, it's silly.
It's silly. They got mad because they protested, but they protested because the league dragged their feet for 2 months. Like, you reap what you sow is all I'm trying to say. It's that you are setting yourself up for way more pain in the long term than just give them a little bit of money. Just give them a little bit more money. You criminally underpay your players as it is. Just give them some goddamn money. You're going to be fine, and you're going to build goodwill. My genuine long-term thought is that they're trying to damage the PA. Because if the PA can't get a deal done, the MLS can go to them and be like, look, what the hell is the players union doing for you? They couldn't even get you this money, right? You have Jeff Cameron out there, fucking dumbass. He's out here saying like, oh, no, the PA's always been dog shit. They've always sucked.
I can't believe it.
Shocking. Jeff Cameron, buddy, you were at the Capitol. Like, let's calm it down, okay? And second, you're at TST trying to beg your way to $1 million prize split amongst like 22 guys. no disrespect to TST, but it's like, maybe you should worry about your own bag, bro, because clearly you're hurting for it. Anyway, I just hate that anti-union rhetoric. That pisses me off. But regardless, this situation, you're right, it's a pissing contest. And it's stupid because you're pissing on your employees that make this league go around. And we've almost seen it before, and I wouldn't be shocked to see it again, is a lockout happens. And a lockout close enough to the World Cup or close enough to post-World Cup where you're trying to build momentum. It's like, dude, you're playing with fire. You're playing with the fire, Ari.
Yeah, I was going to say the next round of CBA negotiations are probably going to be super great. Like that's going to be fun for everyone.
Yeah. It's 2028, like, so it's a long ways away, but regardless.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, like remember how stressful it was when the prospect of a lockout was fully on the table the last time this happened. That shit sucked.
The refs, people forget about the refs literally did a lockout. Do you remember how dog shit the officiating was? There was like a whole 7-week stretch where basically every MLS game was just unwatchable.
That was insane content.
That was incredible. Everyone was like, this league is a joke. Do they want that again? And it was over that, even better. That was over. They were like, hey, can we get flights? Can we just get business class instead of having to ride coach and be able to pick our tickets? That was literally their argument. It was like, hey, we don't really make that much and we just want to be able to get back to our families and pick when we do it. And they were like, no, you should die. You should die, actually. Goddamn.
All right.
We're never going to be league shills, dude. They're never hiring us for 360 MLS season pass.
Noah, anything else on the protest? No. Or should we keep it pushing?
Let's keep it pushing.
We're going
with an ad to pay us 10% of the 90%.
We'll be right back.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere. And some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.
Welcome back from the ad break, in which you definitely did not skip the ads. Don't skip the ads.
It's a part of our collective bargaining agreement between viewer and watcher that you watch our ads, because if you don't, we will retaliate. We will retaliate against you. I promise you that. Because you'll get 40% more ads.
All right, let's hit our agenda check, Noah. I have 2 written down here, and then you can add whatever ones you see fit. This first agenda is one that I've seen percolating a little bit, and it's the Ryan Kent is fraudulent, and those first couple games he was just feasting on bad teams agenda.
Incredible. This has got to be a brigade agenda, right?
I think there's some overlap in all likelihood. Yeah.
The lower tier brigaders, though.
But the genesis of it being that we were all excited about what we saw in the first couple games. Mm-hmm. He looked incredible. And then he and the team have both not managed to recapture that since.
Yeah.
And then it becomes what he did doesn't count thing because it was St. Louis City and the Houston Dynamo. So that's sort of where this agenda is coming from. I guess I'll just give my take, which is that the it doesn't count thing. I don't think it applies here, because the stuff we were talking about from those games, that's stuff that transfers over regardless of opposition.
Yeah.
And even if he hasn't been doing it as consistently in the last few games as teams have scouted him up, just the fact, the stuff we witnessed in those games, just that he has the physical ability to do those things is the thing that was exciting about it, even more than the results of the games to me, or the contributions he was getting on the stat sheet there. The quality and the talent is evident. It's obvious, and it is when you watch his Rangers tape as well. So I don't think what's been going on with Ryan Kent the last couple weeks is to do with talent or ability. I think it's to do with the fact that teams realized how dynamic he is right away and have very clearly all been using a similar strategy to neutralize him, which is just double teaming him or just putting extra guys in that space on the left side where he operates and making sure that he can't just moss guys one-on-one and lay crosses in or lay service into the box. So they're very intent on trying to stop that. And Seattle's not doing a good enough job of capitalizing on the numbers advantages that those doubles and triple teams can create. That's what it's about, more than like him falling off or not being as good as we thought. Like it's about game planning to adjust to the other team's adjustments, which I don't think the team has been doing a good enough job of the last few games. But even with that said, you still there's still been moments where I love what I'm seeing from him. He should have had an assist on that Georgie goal that was offside in the FC Dallas game. That was another good example of the type of stuff Ryan Kent can do. And even in this Vancouver game, that chance that he generated right after kickoff that Alex Roldan scuffed the shot.
Classic, bro.
That was still a very that's exactly the type of stuff I want to see from Ryan Kent. And so he you still see it, like what he did on that play to get himself into that space and get by his defender, and then the movement to get into the box, put the ball in a place where it's a great chance for Alex Roldan. That was great. So it's just they need to figure out a way to get him more opportunities in transition, I think, is a big thing. It's a lot easier to do those double and triple teams when the other team has their defense set. And then again, just like adjusting to how they are attacking him and taking more advantage of that, whether that's switching the point of attack or having more overlappers. Like I knew who's not necessarily the greatest candidate for that. So you have to, but you can have other guys in that space. I don't know. Just do something so that other teams have to think about sending all these extra guys at him. So that's what I think of that agenda. Noah, what do you think?
I mean, we had a long tactical discussion about this on the drive back from Vancouver, because I think we both have been seeing this. For one, I think it's fatigue. I think there is a bit of fatigue. It's getting used to Major League Soccer. Major League Soccer is a lot more challenging than a lot of people want to give it credit for. The travel is intense.
Physically demanding.
It's a very physically demanding league. It's a very pacey, fast, heavy distance covered kind of league. You're playing on a surface. He's playing on a surface he's not used to. He's basically only played on turf since he's been here. And I think the best games he's played have probably been on grass. It's a different surface. It's completely different to play on. I'll tell you that much straight away. That's just the truth. And second, to your point, teams have scouted him now. Teams respect him. The first few weeks, you don't know what you're going to get of him, right? We hear murmurs, we see training, we can do whatever and be like, okay, yeah, this might be the greatest player to ever touch turf. But the reality is other teams are feeling that same way, and it's mystifying. Once it's not mystifying is when they realize, oh yeah, the only other guy which he can have interplay with on that side is fucking Nuhu, who...
There actually have been times where that's looked better than I would have thought.
But that's
Vancouver game,
that's
no.
the problem.
I mean, he got ejected.
He got ejected, whatever. But that's a problem, is when your best option for a guy like that who... He's really great in those tight spaces. He's really great off the pass. He wants a 1-2 pass. He wants to play around defenders. His only option is Nuhu, who, I'm telling you, this is the two Nuhu movements. Take the ball, fake shot, fake cross, fake cut in, and then just blast the ball into the box. Has he gotten better at it? Absolutely. But he's a one-trick pony in attack. That's just the reality of it.
The cross he had to Rusnak in the Whitecaps game was so good.
Dude. And so
he just has him wide open and just hits it at 110 miles per hour.
1,000 miles an hour, terrible. So my thought is, if you got him to link up with a player like KKR, or you got him to link up with a player like Paul Rothrock, or you got him to link up, when you see him link up with Albert Rusnak, when he's able to interplay with Albert Rusnak, at the edge of the box, I distinctly remember this one play where they were just pinging the ball back and forth and just triangling around defenders and going in and able to attack in the box. You need to bring someone in closer and give him some support. We don't need to do this fucking Brian Schmetzer slamming crosses every single time. This isn't 2016 FIFA. Like we can work our way into the box. And I think that he is such a technically talented player that they were kind of just like, go out there, bro. Just do your thing. No stress, because that was working at first. And to your point, like, it's not anymore. And it's time to adapt his position, and it's time to adapt his role. And it's time to understand that he needs some support out there that's not fucking Nuhu Tolo. I'm sorry. That's the reality. Nuhu is great for certain things, but I just don't think that they play off of each other's positives.
These things are a constant chess match.
Yeah.
Teams figure out game plans on how to neutralize what you do well. You have to adjust to what other teams are doing to neutralize your strong suits. And to me, one of the biggest issues that's gone on with this team in the last few weeks is that they have not figured out. They either haven't figured it out or they're not executing the adjustments on the new ways that teams are attacking them. And what teams, they're going to keep doing it until it stops working. You have to make them pay for that. You can't just say, find 77 on the left flank all by himself and
double
just
team him,
and just let him like do his thing. Like you got to be multifaceted. You got to make adjustments. So that's those are the issues at play, in my opinion.
And I got to be honest with you, Ari. Listen, I think he's also just he's being overworked. He's being overworked. And I think that potentially his best position could be coming in as a sub in these moments. You wear them down with someone who is relentless and physical like Paul Rothrock to the point where the second half always opens up. It always opens up in Major League Soccer. That's the reality of the sport. You bring him on for 60 minutes or 45 or whatever, right? And you let him run at this guy who's already going to be a little bit tired against a fresh Ryan Kent. I think that that's more effective. The 3 goal contributions that he had, 2 came from 33 minutes against St. Louis, and 1 came in 66 minutes against the Dynamo. So you've got to look at this as he was a super sub. That could play a role in it. Maybe adapting his role. I understand you want to put your best players on the field to start the game, but some people are just in MLS. They need a different rhythm. You need to play them differently. And this is my agenda next. Maybe I can roll into this. Is that I think Paul Rothrock should be starting. I think Paul Rothrock is a really good antidote to a lot of the problems that Ryan Kent is having. And I think that he has shown and played well enough to, I think he should be getting talked about a little bit more.
Yeah, like it is. So the agenda is you would
Paul
start
Rothrock
Paul
stock
Rothrock
up
over Ryan Kent though specifically, or just he should.
I think you can interchange them, but I think that he should be getting starts in equal amounts as Ryan Kent.
I think you can tinker with it based on matchup. I have a hard time, like this Botafogo game, for instance. I have a hard time, like
I think he matches up better
conceptualizing
with
a starting 11 without Ryan Kent against Botafogo. I wouldn't do that because I think what you're saying tactically has some merit, but like particularly in a situation like this, you need your highest level talent out there as much as possible. And I think to me, it's quite clear that he is among the highest talent on the team, if not the most like just raw talented player on the team. So it is an interesting point though that
he got here 2 months ago and he's almost played 500 minutes.
Yeah,
like that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time,
especially like you mentioned while adjusting to.
And he hadn't played consistently in 2 years,
right? And I think part of what's happening too is you're likely seeing the effects of that, like going to one of the most physically demanding leagues in the world, coming off as long a hiatus as he had.
Yeah.
The fuel tank is probably not running on full for all of this. So,
and that's not even making excuses. That's just the reality, and trying to keep a player motivated, healthy, and successful. That's my take. Is like and that's why my agenda, start Rothrock.
So if you were making the 11 for Botafogo,
which I am, which I am, Brian said I could pick. So if you don't like any of the lineup for Botafogo, it was me. But yeah, I would start Paul Rothrock. I'd play him 45, and then I'd put on Ryan Kent, and I'd let him eat.
I don't hate it. I think Ryan Kent should and will start. I think it's pretty obvious that Schmetzer considers the first choice front or that band of three as Ryan Kent, Albert Rusnak, and Pedro de la Vega. I think that's who you're going to see to start the Botafogo match. But I will say, like, Paul Rothrock, he needs to play a big role in this group stage, and really
he's the down and dirty player. This is the game where you need to get down and dirty. I'm sorry, he should play.
The Vancouver game solidified for me that Rothrock and KKR, like, you can't not give them a full complement of minutes with the rationale of being like, oh well, De La Vega is our highly paid DP, so he has to start.
You can't tell me Pedro de la Vega has had a better season than Paul Rothrock. You can't.
No.
I don't agree with that. And it's not to say that Pedro de la Vega is bad by any means. I think we've seen flashes of incredible talent, but it's like Paul Rothrock is he's just a guy, dude. He's just a guy, and he's a guy that works. And I think you would be stupid to keep doing the paper thing. Best squad on paper, best squad in training doesn't always translate. And I think Paul Rothrock needs the respect. I think he needs the respect.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Next agenda. There's been a lot of talk about what exactly would constitute a success in the Club World Cup. We've given our takes on that
this for you, by the way.
Different junctures. Oh, okay. Did you?
Yeah, you just said get a positive result is what you said, but I put a period on it. I said this is what I want.
All right. So this agenda is the Seattle has to get a draw in the Club World Cup for it to be a success. And I mean, I think what I was getting at is like any sort of like positive results.
Yeah.
Like if they lose every game, it's like automatically an abject failure based on that. The idea of them actually getting out of the group, I think most people understand that that's a long shot. But to me, this whole thing is the ultimate like performance over results situation. You're talking about some of the best teams in the world right here. PSG might be the best team in the world. Atletico Madrid,
I think that's undebated.
That's pretty undebatable right now. And Atletico Madrid, you could look at them in any year, and they're going to be one of the best teams in the world.
They're a contender every single year in the second best league in the world.
Yeah. So like, I think we have to approach this with the knowledge of that reality. And for me, like, I don't think that you have to get like a draw or a win in this group stage to have it be a successful tournament. People might say that's unambitious. I call it like just living in basic reality, which I think like has escaped some people on this. But I
think there's a difference between like an acceptable performance and a successful performance and a successful showing.
Yeah.
Because if you're framing it as a successful showing, you have to get a result. If you're framing it as a understandable, respectable performance, it's don't embarrass yourself. Don't lose 7-1. But I don't think that's what we're talking about. I think we're talking about if we want a successful. If you want a successful
I think there's different degrees of success. I think, to me, if you lose every game of this tournament, but you acquit yourself well in a dignified manner and don't embarrass yourself and put on a good showing for the players and for the club and all that, I would still consider that like a degree of success, even if it wouldn't be like, I think for it to be like a smashing success, you would have to actually take the result.
I think smashing success is getting out of your group. I think a success is winning or drawing a match, and I think an acceptable result is not getting embarrassed.
I think I agree with that scale.
Because I don't think that even the Sounders and the Sounders players will tell you and truly believe that it is impossible to somehow, some way get a result. Whether that comes via Botafogo, which maybe... funny enough, I think that the easiest matchup for them will be against PSG because I doubt that they will play any of their starters. Does that mean it's easy? Absolutely not. But they just came off winning tournament that they want to win. I don't know how seriously they're going to take the group stage, Ari. That's just to be honest.
I don't think it's gonna be the easiest game, but I think
Most winnable, maybe.
Not as unwinnable as you might think based on it being the best team in the world. Let's be real. PSG's B squad is still
that would
good.
win MLS probably. Yeah.
Oh well, I don't really know the depths of their roster, but if we're just talking about
spending like $500 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Season, so
their third string left back, they probably bought for like $85 million. That's just like what they're able to do.
They've got their entire salary for their B team is more than like all of MLS combined, probably. But
so. I don't know. We'll see how people react when the game's actually.
I don't want to say that they're winning the PSG game. I'm not sitting here saying that. I'm just saying if I'm thinking about it and what might be the most like resultable game, I don't know if it's Botafogo because Botafogo wants to win this tournament, man. That's a lot of money in Brazil. Atletico Madrid, that's a shit ton of money for them, and they could really use that money. And PSG, it's like if I'm PSG, I'm like, dude, we just you're like, yeah, we want to compete, but like, how bought in are you? You know, like how bought in are you really? You just won Champions League, which let's be real, is way more impressive and interesting and important than the Club World Cup.
I'm interested to see what this matchup with Botafogo actually looks like. Yeah, because I think that it's probably the most resultable game. And they are reigning Copa Libertadores champions and the reigning champions of the Brazilian top flight, but they haven't started off this season super great. I'm interested to learn more about that on Under the Lights, but they haven't started off this season super great, and I think everyone realizes the gap between any MLS club and a club like PSG or Atletico Madrid. I don't really know exactly what the gap is between MLS and the Brazilian top flight. The Brazilian top flight is a very, very good league. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times with leagues of that tier, even if they're rated consensus above MLS, it's not necessarily like the most outlandish gap. It's certainly not as big as a gap between MLS and La Liga or Ligue 1 where PSG play. That's not even that good a league. They're just like, they have like an insane team and they proved it by winning Champions League. So PSG is just like a little bit of a different discussion. But the gap between Seattle and Botafogo, it could be huge. I honestly, that's what I don't really have a gauge on.
I'll give you some market values here. This is courtesy of Transfermarkt, so this is all just assumed general. It's not real, but it's whatever. They're all across the same plane. The Sounders total market value are 51.75 million. I think that's euros. Yeah, euros. 51.75 million euros. Botafogo, 163.2 million euros. Atletico Madrid, 508.5 million euros. And guess how many?
Hit me with PSG. Hit me with PSG.
1.06 billion euros. 1.06 billion euros. So the easy, quote unquote, easiest opponent is worth
more than
3 times as much as the Sounders in terms of their roster is worth that much. Their second easiest, quote unquote, is worth 10 times. And the oh god, I don't even know the math, like 100 times, something like that.
Can you look up the disparity between LAFC and Club America?
Sure, yeah, LAFC.
Just as a frame of reference for a situation where an MLS club was going up against a team worth like way more than that.
Yeah, so they're valued at 45.9
LAFC?
million. Yeah, and then Club America is 86.6.
Less than Seattle.
Yeah,
86.6. Okay, so
I mean that makes sense.
That's
because
a situation where you're talking about almost double. And
LAFC has an open DP slot, so I mean that makes sense.
Okay, so that
and we have multiple DPs on this team that aren't technically DPs. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah, but if we're talking about like the gap between LAFC and Club America. It's like
smaller.
It's roughly like, but isn't it around
No, it's
double?
way smaller. No,
Well,
45 and 86.
It's smaller, but it's still quite large. Is my point.
Yeah, but not 3 times.
No, but it's an example of a situation where there was quite a large disparity, and
I mean, but also you have LAFC retreads playing for Club America. They've played this team before. Like, it's a very different situation. It's much easier for them to scout this team. It's much easier to understand how they play because they've played them before. They literally have players on their roster that were playing that had previously been on the other team. Like, I'm not trying to like downplay what you're saying, but also like I think it's a very different situation.
It definitely is, but I think
and way less
just from
of a spending gap.
I'm looking at it from just a broader lens of like, can we see like a recent example of a team that you would think like? I get that it's not as much of a difference between Atletico and Seattle, but it's a big difference, and they were not only competitive, but they won the game. So I'm not saying that means anything towards Seattle's chances versus Botafogo.
Right.
But it's not, I don't think it's unthinkable that in spite of that gap, that Seattle could at least be competitive in the game.
Maybe. We'll see.
We're going to find out. That's what we're going to find out on Sunday.
I mean, LAFC have to play Chelsea, who have a $1.03 billion valuation. So
they have a large gap there.
They're not,
Yeah, I mean, that's why I thought Club America would be a better, like, because they're at least in the ballpark of Botafogo.
But like, here's the funny part. They also get to play Experience Tunis, which is a Tunisian team, which has a $20 million transfer value. Or not transfer value, but market value. And then Flamenco, who has a $221 million. So they're still not like the least value. Like, it's going to be hard for them. They probably won't make it out of their group because I think Flamenco and Chelsea will end up moving out of there. But like, it's a little bit less hard for them.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any question.
No one's
that.
No one's saying that. I'm just saying. Speaking.
Did you want to hit this last one here?
Oh yeah. So this brings me to my agenda.
Segue.
No Major League Soccer teams will advance in Club World Cup agenda.
This is your agenda.
This is my agenda. If the Sounders don't do it, no one's doing it, man. I'm sorry, it's not happening. Messi and the Barca boys are going to get torched in this first match. It'd be funny, maybe. I mean, not funny. I'm not wishing this on my god, my king, my Argentinian sweet princess, Leo Messi. But like, what if he gets hurt? Like this Al Ahly team is physical and fast. And you know how you beat LAFC? I mean, I'm sorry, not LAFC. Inter Miami. You know how you do it, Ari? You're physical and fast.
It's gonna be.
They don't have a defense. They don't have a goalkeeper.
It's gonna be quite the test for the old men. We're gonna see if they're up for it, if they can dust off their AARP credentials and get out there and run with these guys. Because you're right, like that was one of the biggest things we noticed about Al Ahly when Seattle played them was just their pace, their athleticism, the exact type of team that does give Inter Miami trouble. The only thing that gives me pause about preemptively declaring the demise of Inter Miami in this tournament is. I still do think about the times where I have seen them hit their apex level. And if for whatever reason they're able to channel that in the group stage, I think it's definitely at least possible that they could perform quite well. Just because when they're firing, their attack is, I mean, it's potent. And
but it's against Palmeiras, who's an amazing Brazilian side. Again, pacey, quick, fast. Physical, very physical. The Brazilian league is super physical, right? Porto, who that's a top tier,
a lot better team than Inter Miami.
Yeah, and then Al Ahly, and we understand Al Ahly because we watched it. That was a Sounders team that was really, really damn good, and they battled it out, and they were super defensive. But one bounce went their way, and they're out of the Club World Cup. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't think Inter Miami is defensive like that in any way. So I just don't see it for them. I'm not saying that it's impossible and that they won't do something and that FIFA won't do anything that they possibly can to get Messi to advance. But like, I don't know, man. It's a more competitive group that people are giving them credit for, I think.
Absolutely. But Messi also is a potential X factor, obviously, in
Sure.
any game that he's in. So I just have a hard time counting them out.
We'll see.
Because they have struggled this year. So like I think your skepticism is warranted. Like especially their form in the last like month or so before they have looked a little better their last couple games. But I still think their like ceiling, like their highest level is definitely high enough to get out of their group. I think like it's just about if they can actually like find that level or not, because they haven't been able to recently, and
they've got a shitty coach.
They have a coach who is I mean he's boys with Messi, so he's got that
cool,
going for him. But I mean I don't know. I think they're a tough one to peg for me because I still think that their top level is elite for an MLS,
but they lost to Vancouver in Club World or in CCC, and then Vancouver got dog walked by Cruz Azul, and they're playing teams that are. I'm not saying Cruz Azul is bad, but I'm saying they're equal or more talented than that.
Yeah.
And they got dog walked by Vancouver.
They
didn't just get beat; they got dog walked 5-1 aggregate.
Yeah.
Well, like I don't think it's happening for them. I don't think it's happening for them.
Well, we're gonna find out at our watch party at Fast Fashion on
Yeah, we
Saturday,
will,
starting
and
at
you'll
4:30.
be there.
You'll be there. All right, we are gonna take another ad break. Then we're gonna come back and close it out with one last topic that I had.
Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get. Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comments section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Welcome back from another ad break in which you definitely didn't skip the ads. Noah, I just got one more topic that I had for the night, and then we can wrap it up here for this episode. I wanted to talk about the Seattle Sounders players that have the most at stake in the Club World Cup.
I like this.
There's a few different lenses that you could look at this through, and I think there's a few obvious candidates. I'll start it off with the most obvious, which I think is Obed Vargas. Wrote a feature about him, MLSsoccer.com. Go read it. But the timing of this for him is pretty incredible in the sense that this transfer buzz around him has been building and building and building for certainly the last year or so, and really the last couple years when it kind of became evident how talented he really is. Like I was just thinking about like what if he goes out in the PSG game and just rips like a unreal Golazo from outside the box. Like it's funny. One individual play like that, I like shouldn't inform your evaluation of a player or influence how much money you spend on them. But if he does that, like we joke about, oh, the price went up. Like literally, the price is like related to this.
It is.
If he goes,
you want a big game player.
Yeah, you want a big game player, and if he capitalizes on this moment and balls out or scores any type of goal, he literally like it has a direct impact on the future of his career. Like the types of clubs that might be interested in him, it might actually like have an effect on who that is, how much the fee is going to be. So this is a like huge, this pivotal moment in his career. Like what happens in this tournament is going to have a direct influence on his future. So a lot on the line for the kid.
I mean, on top of that, he has made it very vocally clear that his favorite team to watch, his favorite team of all time that he's wanted to play for his entire life is Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I think that he is the perfect player for like a Simeone midfield and like the type of identity and like strength and defensive structure. It's not similar to Brian Schmetzer, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's like he's a workhorse. He wants to do the dirty work. He wants to put in all of that work. And I think that if he can show out in that game specifically, I think that there's going to be at least some interest from Atletico Madrid because that's such a good fit.
The more I think about it just now, that's a phenomenal fit. That might be the best fit I've heard yet.
And he wants to be there. Like, he wants to be there. So, like, how much better does it get to have an incredible young talent who has dreamed of playing for this club, is a hard worker, grits it out, plays day in and day out minutes in a top 10 league in the world already, and you get to see him play against your first team in a competitive match? That's probably the biggest single moment for any player during this Club World Cup across the board. I think that's going to be the single biggest moment for anyone in this tournament.
And all his like best attributes make perfect sense. Like his skills in possession and ball retention and ball progression are all world class. That plays in La Liga. And that's like the exact type of player that Atletico Madrid, I would think, would be all about at least taking a look at. So,
and maybe it's not Atletico Madrid at first, but it's like the exposure of him to La Liga even more. I mean, they've said that they get inquiries about Obed Vargas from everywhere, right? Like, I mean, anyone who has, I think someone said it at some point, it was like anyone who has a pulse knows about Obed Vargas.
Well, Craig Weibel, and I included this quote actually leading my Obed feature, but he said what I think we already knew, but it was interesting to hear it confirmed. Every major team in the world has like a set of analytics that are specific to their club that they use to evaluate players and what players are going to be the best fits on their teams and all that. But there's kind of there's like a relatively uniform kind of set of stuff that a lot of these teams look at, and they're not necessarily even watching the tape to start it off. They're just looking at the performance metrics, and the term that Craig Weibel used was red alarms. Like he said, every team in the world using these analytics has seen like what he's putting up, and when that happens, it's like woo 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 woo. And he's done that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like if you've ever played a Football Manager and you're like scouting players or whatever, and you're looking at all those digits, that's basically what they have. Actually, Football Manager itself actually does that now. They supply scouting statistics to teams, which I think is hilarious because it's like, okay, bro, I guess I'm a GM now. Cool. But yeah, dude, we know that he is not long for the Sounders, but I really do think if there's one even positive about this tournament, it's get that kid as many minutes as possible and get him in front of as many coaches as possible and just like skyrocket his value and do what you have always promised him you're going to do and move him on to Europe so that he can do the things that he wants to do in his career and lead the Mexican national team to winning a World Cup in 2028, or 2026. It's going to happen. Whatever.
The next player I wanted to talk about, no, he's actually not on the
okay,
outline.
Yeah.
Pedro de la Vega.
Oh, yeah.
With all the transfer buzz surrounding Obed Vargas, Pedro de la Vega is the one that Craig Pedro de la Vega is the one that Craig Weibel has said generates even more interest and he gets more phone calls about than even Obed Vargas. Maybe that's changed in the last couple months or so, but as recently as the last few months, Craig Weibel said that De La Vega is still the one generating the most interest. And even if that's cooled off a little bit, I would imagine that's still the case, at least to some degree.
Yeah.
But this is a player that still has a lot to prove. He has at least stayed on the field for most of this season, save for the one injury spell, but he's played 600 plus minutes this season. You've seen glimpses of it. He has 3 assists. He had the goal in the Nashville game. There's been, I would argue that his assist total should be like a little higher based on like high quality chances that he's created that didn't get finished. But no, I mean, I was talking about this on the call-in show with one of our callers, Gianni. We were doing De La Vega discourse. And, you know, when we think about what's gone wrong with this team this year, why they're 7-6-5 and at 1.44 points per game, there's a lot of different things that you can point to. But dating back to last season, I think, and look, this is not bagging on De La Vega at all. Like, I think it's obvious that he's a very, very talented player, and it's obvious that he's like a great guy that is great in the locker room, and he wants to succeed incredibly badly, and he is doing his best. He's busted his ass physically to get back to where he's at, and he's playing better this year. But you have to acknowledge the simple reality of the situation that if you have a player who's been on a DP spot on your roster for a year and a half, dating back to last year, and the output that you've gotten out of that roster spot is 2 goals, 4 assists in 1,300 minutes, which is what De La Vega has during his whole time in MLS. That is going to be
bad.
That's going to be reflected in your record and your points per game to an extent. That is just like the fact of it. And so again, that's not to like, that's not, a lot of it, like, to be fair, is not his fault. Like what happened last year was not his fault. He couldn't stay on the field because he kept getting injured. But it has created a situation where going into this tournament, he has a lot to prove still. He has a lot to prove for the rest of this season. And this is like a big opportunity for him to kind of make the statement that he is the caliber of player that you spend $7 million on, and that can be an impact needle moving player for this team in this league in a situation like this. So I think he's got as much on the line as anyone here.
And that was why at the beginning of the season, I was trying to pump the brakes on everyone, saying, it's his breakout, he's breaking out, he's blah, 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 all of this stuff, because now the minutes are bearing it out, and he's not. He hasn't done anything. I think this is an under-talked about storyline, so I'm glad that you guys chatted about it, but it's like, he has been disappointing. He has been a disappointing player this season. For the minutes that he's gotten, for the salary that he's being paid, for the spot that he's taking up, I think that this is a tournament where if he performs really well and the phones start ringing, you pick it up, you answer it, and you hit the eject button. I got to be honest, because it's not even necessarily that he's a bad player. It's just sometimes you have to read the tea leaves. In Major League Soccer, you don't have 2 seasons to wait for a player to figure it out. You don't. You have one DP spot. You use that one DP spot on someone who can make an impact, right? Like Albert Rusnak, okay? That is a way more justifiable side. If you're comparing the two, Ari, if you're comparing Pedro de la Vega and Albert Rusnak on DP contracts, Albert Rusnak looks like a goddamn slam dunk steal, right? And I think he
production-wise.
Yeah, but that's the reality, is like they were buying this player to try and, you know, hit some upside on him. And like, you got to know when to sell. You got to know when your asset is depreciating, and you got to realize that like he's an amazing player, but maybe this just isn't the league that he's going to get it done in. And that's okay. That's okay. That's doing right by your player and doing right by your wallet and your cap space. And it's like, I'm not down on I don't care what they do. Honestly, like whatever. Like this is not where I think a lot of contention comes from. I think that this team has been riddled by injuries, which has hurt the team more than this, but I think this is you're right. Like this is a part of it. And you got to think about it. Like if he does well and he shows out and those teams come calling, I think you should truly entertain those calls and maybe even make a deal, even losing some money.
When I think about again why this team's at 1.44 points per game right now, I mean we can debate the tactics and individual games and the setup and the lineups until we're blue in the face. The reality is when you have your DP number 9 missing pretty much the entire season with injury, so you're not getting production from that DP spot, and then your other DP spot is at 1-3 in 600 minutes. It shouldn't shock anybody, honestly, that they're. I would. There's a lens to look at it like that. The fact that they're in that situation with 2 of their DP spots and they're still 7, 6, and 5 is like.
Well, it proves the point that this is the deepest team in Major League Soccer.
That is
true. That is true.
Is it not a testament to the depth?
Yeah.
Like I know
it is.
That's going to piss people off, but like I think you could at least argue that
they're afloat right now is actually
it's
incredible.
Impressive.
It's incredible.
Like yeah,
it is.
And there's the depth has been a big reason for that. You know, like guys like Paul Rothrock and KKR stepping up.
But regardless, you can't have a guy taking up a DP, or it's hard to have a guy taking up a DP spot when your other starting DP is injured, with 0.69 expected assists and 1.49 expected goals. I'm not saying that those are completely accurate. I mean, you know, you're the one who brought it up, who said he probably should have more assists.
I'm proud of you for dishing those.
But
stats.
I'm saying, like, if you agree with the numbers, if you agree with looking at that, he's not good on that, right? He's not. That's bad numbers. He is in the lower 48th percentile for that for goals, and the 33rd percent for expected assists. Okay, if that's your mode of understanding soccer, he looks bad. If you look at the actual statistics, he looks bad. If you're looking at just eye test, you see moments where he's great, but that's it. It's moments, and it's not DP quality. It's not. Albert Rusnak, DP quality. Jordan Morris, when he's been on the field, DP quality. Pedro de la Vega, you can't even compare them to those 2 players, like, at all. At all.
And there is...
and that's not to hate on the guy, by the way. I like Pedro. It's just, that's the reality of the situation.
You have to be, like... brutally honest and realistic when it comes to these DP spots. They're too important.
That's what I was trying to say at the beginning of the season, and everyone got on my ass, man. So I just shut up about it. But like, I've been feeling this.
Yeah, and like, okay, the thing is, there is still the rest of the season for this narrative to change, but that sort of comes back to what I'm saying about why this Club World Cup is so important for him, because he could put. I'm fully willing. I would love to be. For my concerns to be proven invalid on this, and I'm willing to give him every opportunity to do that. But
I guess he did. To be fair, he did score 2 against Antigua and then 1 against.
And he had an assist in
and an assist.
I think
no, he scored 3 against Antigua, but
I wouldn't categorize. I can't remember the term that you use, like that he was like that he had done nothing. Like I don't think that's the case, but like you have to think of it on a scale of like what you expect and need for a DP.
Nothing.
Yeah, like he's done well at times.
He has done TAM
had good
quality.
Moments. He's what?
He's done TAM quality.
That's kind of a fair way of putting it.
I think that if you put Jesus Ferreira in his DP spot, people are still disappointed. You know what I mean? People are probably more vocally disappointed. And you put Jesus Ferreira on TAM at that money, you're like, okay, well, he's been injured and, you know, he'll figure it out. I really do think it's the spot in the money that he's making that's the issue, less than it being understandable that he's struggling.
Yeah, and like you can see, because Ferreira hasn't produced like a DP this year, but he's not a DP, so it's like not as much of an issue.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what he does with the opportunity, but if he goes out there and balls out, we'll be the first ones here to give him his praise for it, and he can up his stock both with this team, but like globally with a good showing. So a lot on the line for him. Noah
and Craig,
you had Noah, you had two here.
Mm-hmm.
What you got?
Jesus Ferreira, right? I mean, we originally thought this guy's going to come in here and he's going to tear it up and we're going to see him for a season and then he's going to be gone to Europe. I think that was the assumption of a lot of fans and maybe even myself to a certain extent. And he hasn't done it. You know, he's been fighting for comfortability, I think, is a good way to put it. And he hasn't necessarily settled in any one role or one position. He's looked great in flashes, kind of like Pedro. But this is an opportunity for him to be like, I get an opportunity, okay? You're going to be the starting 9. Brian is putting it on you. You are going to be the starting 9. If you can get it done against some of the best teams in the world, I promise you, the stock, like your stock is up. Your stock is up. That's what you came here for, to get a fresh start, to get an opportunity like this. You come here, take a pay cut for this opportunity, and guess what? You're getting it. So he's got to take it, and he's got to run with it, and he's got to perform. And I really do. I think that this is going to be where our valuation of him for this season comes from. I really do. I think that there's going to be what did you do with the minutes you got? And I think that if he can do something here, it's like tip of the cap, okay. If not, it's like, all right, like, I don't know. Like it's kind of a determining moment in a way for him, I think. And I'm not saying he has to go out and score 50 goals. I'm saying he needs to look dangerous. He needs to look like the striker that we knew him to be previously, and score a goal as well would be great. But, you know, because for my own agenda, because I don't want to get a tattoo already. I don't want to get another one.
I mean, was the tat bet
5?
all comps or league play?
I think it was all. Oh, I don't know. I think all comps.
No, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Who you got next?
Ryan Kent.
Yeah.
I think he was another one where we're like, you're not long for this team. And I hope it's that way as well. He's a really talented player in the prime of his career. If he wants to, that's really where it's at. Is if he wants to go out and play somewhere else, this is his opportunity to go show that he's still got that level that he played at that in that Rangers club that did so well that year, and he was dominant. I just think he could get his groove back a little bit and feel like the top class player that he is. So I think if we're ranking them though, I think that's probably in order is Obed, Pedro, Jesus, and Ryan.
A lot on the line in general. You got a labor dispute. You got PSG, Atletico Madrid, Botafogo coming to town. You got transfer buzz. There's a lot going on.
Lots of news.
There's a lot going on. We're gonna keep covering all of it. Mm-hmm. Noah, unless you had anything else you wanted to hit for this one, I was thinking we could call it right here.
Let's call it right here. Join us in the bonus content at our YouTube. Become a YouTube member by hitting join or scrolling down, and it's the first link in our description. We're gonna talk about RA. The brigade might have been right.
What?
The brigade might have been right.
You're not gonna want to miss this.
You're not gonna want to miss this. Hit the bonus episode after this. Come to our event, lobbingscorchers.com/RSVP. And I'll toss it to you, Ari, to close it out with anything else.
No, I think that was it. Fast Fashion, Saturday, 4:30. Mm-hmm. Be there. And sub to the YouTube and follow us on all socials.
Yeah.
Until next time, we out.
Peace.